Hey guys, my friend Sean, welcome back to the video, and today we are going to be discussing how do websites store your password, what is the weakest way, what is the safest way, how can we protect ourselves against it. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. And the first and most naive approach is simply storing them in the database without basically doing anything to them. They store it like this is the username, this is the password. And the worst case scenario is that a hacker or an insider gets access into the database itself. They will get access to all the passwords which is stored inside of it. So that's a very naive and very insecure approach to storing passwords. Let's look at it just a little bit more of a secure way of storing passwords, which is called encryption. Now, there are different types of encryption, but the encryption that we are talking about now is a very simple encryption. So, you put the username as it is, you take the password, put it through like an algorithm which will change that password into a different language, not as in Tamil to English, English to Hindi, but as in just in English alphabet, but a weird convoluted way. So then, there are a lot of common passwords that hackers have already figured out a way to hack into. So it puts it to that algorithm, and the algorithm changes it into something else. And that is a little bit more of a secure approach, but it is almost as naive as simply storing it as plain text. And the database may store it in a hash. We will get into that later. Now let's stay in encryption. Now there are different types of encryption. But let's now talk about the good and very strong type of encryptions, which is like 256-bit encryption, which I think Google uses. And what it is very secure. Now, let me tell you how much processing power it will take to break into that encryption. Now, weak encryption, very easy to hack, but 256-bit encryption is very difficult to hack into. Let me show you how. Let's say you have a computer which is guessing the passwords, and there is millions and billions and trillions of combinations. Right? Let's say you give me 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can create so many just combinations with it. Let's say I can create 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3. Just you get the point, right? You can create many combinations. And you have, let's say you have 1 million of these computers guessing each 1,000 passwords a second. Even in trillions of years, you won't be able to guess the correct password. But nowadays, hackers have found a way to breach into that as well. Now let's get into hashing. I will pick up on that later. So now hashing is what it is it locks it. And now it has a vault key. So now the key is your password, and what it's locking is your information. So the only problem and a very big flaw and a very big problem is that when it opens it, it makes it susceptible to hackers. Let's say now you've logged out, right? Now your information and your password is locked, and your key is your password. Let's say you enter your password and now you open it. Right? So now it's hashed. Let me show you a little diagram of the strongest hashing that you can use. As you can see, the input password is pretty insecure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it digests it, which is the algorithm changing it into a hashed password. So this is again encrypted. This is the highest, and this is the safest and the most secure approach. So this is now what you can see, the YPG, so on and so on. This is the secure password. This is the key that you want to be using. Now you enter this, which 1 2 3 4, which is equal to the other one, and you hash it, and then it compares it. If it compares it and it's right, it lets you in. But if you compare it and it finds that it isn't right, it locks you out. But the problem with this is that when the door is open, when the vault is open, you put your key in and you open the door. But when that is open, hackers can get into it. And now that's what makes it a little bit insecure. Let's see something that's even more secure. You hash it, encrypt it, and sprinkle a bit of salt on it, which is literally called salting. So what it does is the algorithm, it just cooks up a bunch of random letters, like let's say A, C, D, J, J, B, M, and it puts that, randomly mixes it in with the final code. So you get this diluted form of the original password, which makes it very, very hard to guess by computers. So only thing you're going to have to do is guess the password. So this is the best approach that you can take. And one big mistake that a company did was back when Adobe did it. The people who made Acrobat and Photoshop. And this led to a massive breach. Billions of gigabytes of passwords were stolen. So now it's time to just oversimplify it. So what is hashing? They take the password, turn it into a key, change it into a different language. So that is what you have, the encrypted key. Then the next time you enter it, they take the raw, just normal, plain text. Then they change it into the hash, and they compare the hash, and then they compare the encryption. Then they say, then if it's right, as you can see here, it compares it. And if the comparison is right, it lets you through, and it opens it. Now that's the hash. Encryption is, it runs it through an algorithm, basically a software, which changes it into a different coding language, which in turn makes it pretty secure. And then the best approach is taking that ending key and adding a bunch of random letters to it to scramble it so that it makes it very secure. And so nowadays passwords are easily hackable. I'll give you guys a few tips to keep secure. I'll run this up quickly. So 1, do not use the same password for many services, because then the hackers can easily get into your account. And next is, do not use very common passwords such as 1 2 3 4 and dogs' names. And that is just a simple way to keep secure online. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button and please be sure to subscribe. And see you all guys in another video. Bye.